That's the latest thing I've learned. I learned that in Burma. That's how you say hello. And when you shake hands, you do like this. I guess that's to show you don't have a pistol or anything. And you know, when you go to Cambodia, don't do that. You do this. So we're very different people all over the world, right? But I'll tell you, last night, about 12:35, I was very happy to get on Cebu Pacific because I felt like I'm going home. It's time to get home. The food is good. The people are wonderful. It's very difficult to be in Bangkok Airport. I was very happy to get up. And then I got home, and I got to wait in Manila, and had all the wonderful Filipino food, you know, cinnamon, the coffee. But I got to Cebu at about 11 o'clock yesterday, but it was so very nice to be. It was so good to see all of you, especially lots of you I know from before. The joy, if you're visiting for the first time, Jenny, the joy of coming to this is the first time you meet everybody, and 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, you come back and you, oh, I know you already. It's very good to see you, and you get to know people, and it's very, very exciting. So I get to go back to America and brag about you. Oh, you want to slaughter people. Anyway, tonight we have a very interesting but somewhat difficult topic because many people have ideas about it. I've just left a country where idols are every place. Buddhas, hundreds and hundreds of them. And maybe if we could take maybe 10 minutes tomorrow night, I'll show you some of those pictures if you're interested to see what we're talking. And you see a big picture of, you see a big idol there, and here's a big snake. Very big cobra, like this. And under it, under this big cobra is sitting Buddha. And they worship the cobra because he was supposed to have given a shade to Buddha one time. And there's so many interesting and strange stories in religions of the world. But we're Christians, and our religion comes from the background of the Old Testament where God had made an agreement with one people, Israel, and these people knew God. And they were instructed by God, and they were the people who were blessed by God to be the ones through whom our Savior would come. Now, it's interesting that in Burma, we had a class, we had some people we were discussing with, about 37 people. And those people, many of them, believe that time runs in a circle. And your job in this life is to earn enough merit to not have to be born again at a lower level, but so that someday you can be absorbed back into the nirvana or whatever. But we know from this book and from our own observations that time is not circular. We know that there is a beginning, that there was a beginning. And that beginning will end, that beginning began a world of creation that in the future will come to an end. How quickly can this world come to an end? Right? How quickly can this world come to an end? Let me ask you all something. How soon can we die? Last night, when we left on that plane to come from Yangon, he took 40 seconds to get into the air. And I was wondering, because most airplanes you ride on will take you 30 or 27 seconds to get off the air. You notice that when you're being scared about flying, where it does. Two things to think of. Take off, landing. You always want the right kind of landing, of course. Well, I thought about this, how important it is that you and I be serious about God and a relationship to God, because we all believe that we're an inside person and an outside person. We know that. In 35 seconds, 280,000 people were standing before God. Our hell in the nation of Haiti. You realize that? That earthquake in Haiti took only 35 seconds. I've been talking over 35 seconds. So, you see, in a truth, because we're human beings and we're mortals, whether we want to be proud, whatever we want to be, we need to be very serious about our relationship with God. For many reasons, not just to be scared about the future, but for having a fulfilled life now. Now, one of the things we're going to have to wrestle with, this is the text. We're going to talk about the text. It doesn't matter because there's so many things that people like to do, and people want, and people prefer. But we are not a simple people. You are not babies. You may not understand why I'm saying it, but you're not babies. You're not people that just learned your ABCs and can't read. Huh? And anyone, including me, who can teach you, tells you in effect that you have enough wisdom to make decisions for yourself about everything, because we're all made by God to be responsible creatures. Do I sound angry or not? Does that sound true to you all? Huh? Are we not responsible creatures? But that means nobody can say, oh, we won't tell them that because they're kind of like children, so we'll treat them like children. Huh? And we'll do these things because the children can't understand. Anyone who treats you like a baby is wrong. In religion or anything else, we are people who are responsible people. Huh? And you really have to think about it in this topic, because for many years we've been treated like babies about things that we worship. The people are simple. People don't understand. Now look what we have to wrestle with. We start, and by the way, I have chosen many times tonight to use the Douay-Rheims version, all right? And tomorrow night, we're going to have a section about this same topic, where one of the most interesting sections of the Bible about images is found, and that is in the book of Wisdom of Abraham. Now, if you've got a King James Version, American Standard Version, or then you're not going to have it in there. But I found it, and I thought, wow, this is very wonderful. And it's found in the book they always call the, what Bible? Not the Protestant Bible, but the Catholic Bible. Well, any Bible that's been translated right is not anybody's Bible but ours, right? It's our Bible. All right, notice, we start out with this. The first text we must wrestle with is Exodus 24. That's when the question of idols first come in, images first come in. Now look, I like to play with words. Take the L off. If I twist something, I'm not wrestling, I'm resting the Scriptures. I'm twisting the Scriptures. We must not do that. So, God is speaking to Moses. You shall not make thyself a graven thing, nor the likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or in the earth beneath, nor those things that are in the waters under the earth. What things may I make an image of in my religion, according to this text? What things are permitted for me to make in my religion? To show veneration to, or to show respect to, or show adoration to, or maybe even go to. What things? Read it carefully. What things? A graven image or the likeness of what? If I can't make an image of anything, what thing can I make an image of? Anything?
The images of this spirit,
All right. If we make the image of spirit, that's a very logical statement, right? How many of you have seen? By the way, thank you, dear, because tomorrow night for sure we're going to talk about the God we have. What does God look like?
It's a spirit.
And now I know if I go to Rome into the Sistine Chapel, don't we know that we got that picture where God is creating, and it's got a great big old man there, and he's got his finger down like that. And remember that, sister? And here's Adam. You think God is a great big grandfather in heaven? So if I take my grandfather's picture, have I got a picture of God? But she's like, you know, there could be things spiritual, but it's very hard to make an image of anything spiritual. Because you can't see anything spiritual, can you? Can you? Did you have something more, dear?
what I mean, sir, is that the images of God, then under the water, the images base of
fishes.
Zeus.
Now, I will tell you now that every one of you is responsible to have an image. But I'm not going to tell you that image tonight. Okay? Is that fair? Now, if you're not going to come back tomorrow night, you tell me. But I'm telling you right now, every one of you must have an image.
We will come back in spirit.
There?
We will come back in spirit.
Okay, thank you. All right, now notice. But I think about what is this word graven image? So I had to look it up, and I'm not trying to be scholarly, but this almost sounds like to you idol. See, in the Greek language it's E-I-D-O-L-O-N, idolon. And you took off the E, and you got your white word, idol. Idol. And so she says, you must make any graven thing. No idol. Now remember, English speakers translate it and sometimes make it sound like when they lived in their time. But that's what it says. No idolon. Don't make any. Leviticus, which is the law, by the way, for the Jewish priests, telling them what they should do and should not do, had this to say. In Leviticus 26:1, and this, by the way, is the New American Bible. Now, I want to tell you that that's not a very expensive Bible. Here, we can still get it. It's not cheap, but still. And it's a very good translation. It was done by a combination, and it's issued by, I think, the Confraternity of the Catholic Church. And I use it often. In fact, that's my copy right over there now. So it says, do not make false gods for yourselves. You shall not erect an idol or a sacred pillar for yourselves. Nor shall you set up a stone figure for worship in your land, for I, the Lord, am your God. Notice the different things we can't do. False gods for yourself. In the terminal at Bangkok, where you go find your plane, there are these great big images. This guy's got wings on his heels. He's got fangs in his teeth. He's got a great big club in front of him. He's dako. Is that the right word? Very big. What is this anyway? It's kind of scary. And I went over there and said, this is the giant so-and-so who had 2,000 faces and 1,500 hands. Now someone said, how's that? Well, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm not convinced. Because he got killed. So what good is he standing there as a thing? Because it says somebody else killed him. But he's still a big idol, and you know, people are very careful around those idols. All right, you don't make that. Erect an idol or a sacred pillar. What would this sacred pillar be? We have the word Asherah. What's a sacred pillar for? You know, if you study Eastern religions, you go to the Hindu religion, you're going to be embarrassed. Because their pictures are not very nice. They're not very clean. They could not pass the GP13. PG13, GP, okay, never mind. General purpose, PG, parent guidance 13. They can't pass that because but it's interesting. The idol, the large pillar among the Hindus had to do with the male. But among the Jews that they put that up, it was for the lady. You worship the lady goddess there. And imagine, why would people worship those things? Listen, if we were not Christians in the Philippines, we don't have a Christian background. Because we have that great drought in the north, what would we be doing? We'd all be trying to worship some god of the weather, wouldn't we? Am I right? If we were American Indians, we'd be dancing the dance to our god of the sky to get rain. Correct? See, these things were very important to them because they thought they controlled their lives. And they were very attractive because they appealed to the kind of thing that we want to do but we don't dare do because we're prohibited by God. They could be immoral in relationship to their idols. In fact, the Jews said the beginning of immorality was idolatry. Okay, now, stone figure and worship in your land. Have we ever seen anything like that? When I was younger, a lot younger, I used to go many times to Ara and to Mountain Province. You know what you see in the field there? On the side of the field, there was a little thing made, you know, for something to sit in. And they had a little idol sitting in there. And this little idol was aimed towards the field. And there was blood on this little idol because you kill a chicken to this idol.
White chicken, white chicken.
I don't know what color.
These days-
But the point is, they're sincere. I'm not saying they're not sincere, but they believe that you must do this so that you will have fertility in the field and protection of the field. Now, we must not laugh at them because we might find ourselves very superstitious people also. Any of you have any superstition? Americans we are too sophisticated to have superstitions. But please do not try to find a 13th floor in our hotels. We rename it, we call it the mezzanine. But we don't have a 13th floor. Okay, why? Well, we're not superstitious, but don't take any chances. Right? And even some people, if they're going someplace and they see a certain bird go across the road, they go back home. But we all think about what? What color cat? As if that cat had a choice about its color. But if you see a black cat, cyan. But we're not superstitious. It's those other people who are superstitious, right? Not us. Now, in this discussion tonight, tomorrow night, and the next night, we got to challenge ourselves and ask, am I really logical? Am I really looking at things in a truly God-given spiritual way? Or is this something inherited from others? You know, when I was a boy, my daddy used to tell me, there's a bridge near our place. And you have to be careful going across that bridge at night. Because on the right side of that bridge, coming from the north, there's a great, at night, there's a great, big, dark, giant man there. And you want to go very fast across that bridge so it does not get you. And many people in our community believe that. Until someone had enough sense to go look at it in the daytime. And guess what they had there? There's a Dakelakayo, there's a big tree, and it had been burned on the one side. And so at night, you could just see the big black thing. But everybody in the community, oh yeah, there's really bad spirits there. You've got to be careful going there. We don't do that, do we? Do we do that? Yes, unfortunately we do. Yes, unfortunately we do. If you want some fun, when I come back to the Philippines, sometimes I meet my brethren, my friends, my Kahilian or my whatever we are. Because I'm an OFW from the United States. I'm working here. I meet OFWs going there. And we get talking. And when you ask, do you ghosts? You believe in ghosts? Yes. Well, how do you know? Oh, in our house, the door opened by itself. Really? Wow. And you know, and it's not just Filipinos. We people are very prone to be superstitious, and so we must be careful. It says, do not believe that you can put a rock with a certain picture on it or a certain image on it. And do not do this stone figure for worship in your land. Worship is reverence, is respect towards that. Because he said, why? 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 I am the Lord your God. You know what? I don't want to worry about anybody if I have God on my side. Correct? Why would you worry about something that is created if the Creator tells you, do not worship that. Don't give my respect to that thing. Like we once had in the fields of Mount in an opera. We had those things. And when I went to France, in Germany, you know what? Every field in Germany, in France, had an image. And if I was irreligious, you know what I would say? They had a dead Jesus. A dead Jesus on the side of every field. What am I talking about? They're very religious in picture, but in France today, not 3% of the people believe there's a God. Can you believe that? But in every field, there's a crucifix. On every field, on every street, everything. What about that? That's not something from the inside. That's something just showing on the outside, perhaps. Look at Deuteronomy. Now remember, in our Bible, you know, you have the 5 books of Moses. And the last few months before Moses died, he preached his last sermons. And he reviewed what had happened in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. And there he's talking to them again. And he said, the Lord charged me at that time to teach you the statutes and decrees which you are to observe over in the land you will occupy. Moses was not allowed to go over because he had disobeyed God. So he's standing here on Mount what's that name? Mount Nebo. And he can see that beautiful land, but God says you can't go because you disobeyed me. You did not honor me. You did not honor me. Wow, be careful. You've got to be careful who we honor, right? And you can't go. But he said, I want to talk to you about what you're not going to do when you get over that land. You saw no form at all on the day the Lord spoke to you at Horeb from the midst of the fire. What does God look like? Huh? And Moses said, what did he look like when you went on Horeb? You did not see him. You didn't even dare go near the mountain. All you saw was the dark cloud. You did not see an image. So therefore, how do you dare to make an image and say, this is God? Huh? What about it? Now, when I talk, I make a word up here, God, and I said, there's God. You know that's not God. And I draw stick figures, and I said, this is Jesus, and he's baptizing. Huh? But you know that's not Jesus, you know that's not God, right? Could you make an image of God? Okay, I want to have some fun with you. Will anyone please tell me what Jesus looks like? Does he look like a Filipino? Why not? He won't look like me. I'm pink. Well, I think I am. I'm pink. We don't talk about white people. No, they ain't white people. They're pink people. Correct? And most of the people in the world look like Jesus because Jesus was probably what? More brown than he was white. Do you know that? So if you draw me a picture of Jesus and say, my little baby, honey, let's go worship Jesus. There he is. He looks like he comes from Norway. He's got blonde hair. He's got very blue eyes. He's got very big muscles. And he looks like a handsome Americano who is a Purao or Pudao. And does he look like that? And the little child goes through his whole life thinking, oh, Jesus is the big white man. Right? Is there any danger in this? You know, I was at that big sweet Dragon Agoda, and they have not only images there to good gods, but to the nits, the bad gods. And I took a picture of the two bad gods. You know what they look like? They look like devils. They look like two British men. That's what they look. I looked at them, they look like two British men of about 1890, dressed like them. And they got one demon here. He looks like a British officer. He looks like a British officer. Are devils really like that? But as we talk about this, what starts going through your head? What does God look like? You don't know. What color is Jesus? Did anybody see his face? Yes. But did they ever see Jesus when he's just God? Not God and man? When he went to the Mount of Transfiguration in Matthew 17, what did Jesus look like then? I like to tease people. You want to see what Jesus looked like? Tomorrow morning at 11:59, you go outside. And if there's no clouds, you just look at the sun.
Wait, that's not.
Yeah, so then you look at the sun. And I want to tell you, it doesn't look like Jesus. Because when Peter and the others saw Jesus transfigured, his face was brighter than the sun. But you look at the sun and you're going to be blind.
Yes.
So don't draw me a picture of Jesus being pink, or yellow, or brown, or black, or green. I will not believe it. Will you? And remember this. In all the arguments and all the discussions about this topic, we're talking about something that we do not have to have. You understand me now? You do not have to have any image to please God. Now, I'm not saying you can't have one. That's not, we got to discover that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I will not fight with you. I will not kill you. I will not persecute you because you don't like my image. But that's not been true. That's not been true. People have killed each other because they wouldn't, oh, you like too. You are wicked because you have an image that looks like a doll. And I have an image that looks like a picture. And we will fight. And that's the history of Christianity. Because they chopped on each other. Okay, what does he teach us here? You saw no form at all the day the Lord spoke to you at Horeb from the midst of the fire. Be strictly on your guard, therefore, not to degrade yourself by fashioning an idol to represent any figure. Do not do what? Look, I had to look that word degrade up. Do not corrupt yourself. You mean that could corrupt me? Look, suppose you're a little African child. And the missionaries come and they show you the pictures of Jesus. And Jesus is always a white guy. Somebody, are you equal to him? Do you feel good about that? Huh? Could you be corrupted by the false idea given you? And you feel inferior and worthless because someone showed you an image that's not really true? Of course we could. But do not degrade yourself by fashioning an idol to represent any figure. Why is it degrading yourself? Because you're not supposed to be looking at any idol, but you're supposed to be lifting your eyes to whom? The God who does not have a form that you can see. Okay. What not to imitate? Deuteronomy. Whether it be the form of a man or a woman. Oh boy. Some people like the New Translation of the Bible. And they got one that says, in the beginning God, she formed it. You know, gender doesn't mean anything with God. And we're making a foolish step. Not a man or a woman, no form of a man or a woman, or any animal on the earth, or of any bird that flies in the sky, of anything that crawls on the ground, or any fish in the waters on the earth. What do you think Moses is trying to tell us? What can we make? What idol can we make that will represent God? Yesterday, day before yesterday, I saw images. One was an elephant with 3 heads. 3 heads on one elephant. And I wondered, if it was real and it got indigestion, would they fight among themselves, arguing who ate the bad thing? And that's not all. I saw a different kind of animal that had 2 bodies. I don't know about that. I don't know which direction to go. The head correcting 2 bodies. So, well, you don't understand. That's right, I don't understand. I look at those images, I don't understand. I know this, though, my God is not like that. And your God is not like that. And your Savior is not like that. All right. Don't make any image of anything. And when you look up to the heavens and behold the sun or the moon or any star among the heavenly bodies, do not be led astray into adoring them or serving them. Well, we don't adore them. And we're not controlled by them. Before we go any further, would each one of you write down your sign? Are you a Gemini? Are you a Cancer? I'm a Crab. That's my nature. That's not the time I was born. Do you know what I'm talking? Do you have a zodiac sign? Does astrology control you? No. We are too sophisticated for that, right? Am I right? But do you read your horoscope? Do you believe that these signs can do? Oh, it's based in romance. Oh yeah, you've got to get them. We even have a Mexican program in America where this lady has all these good-looking boys and good-looking girls on there, and they're trying to match them up, and they have this guru over here saying, yeah, well, you're a Gemini, and you want to get along with that crab over there. It's really crazy, and people like it. You believe that? But we don't. What does he say to you? You don't adore them, you don't serve them. Turn it around. They don't control you. These the Lord your God has let fall to the lot of all the nations under the heavens. The nations are superstitious, we are not. If you go around that sweet dragon stupa there, which is 218 feet tall, completely covered with gold. And at the base of it you can find your birthday. And on your birthday you go there and you can pour water on Buddha and get good luck. And they believe it implicitly. And he says, we leave these things to the nations. not God's people. These are the things for the outsiders, not for us. But you has he taken and led out of the iron foundry, Egypt, that you might be his very own people as you are today. He's talking to the Jews. And when the Jews did not obey God and turned away from God and mixed their hearts with idols, what happened to them? They were carried away captive till they could repent. Right? Am I confusing you? Okay, we're okay. Deuteronomy 4:23. Beware lest thou ever forget the covenant of the Lord thy God, which he hath made with thee, and make to thyself a graven likeness of those things which the Lord hath forbid to be made. How much did the Jews believe this, brethren? How much did they believe it? Last night as I was doing research, I looked in Josephus. And the Romans, under Herod had put a big eagle at the gate of the temple, a gold eagle at the gate of the temple. It is forbidden for them to have any images in their temple area. So 40 young Jews got axes, and they let themselves down there, and they took those axes and they chopped that image off. Because they said it's wrong to have any likeness like this in the presence of God. And when they caught them. Herod caught them. Why are you doing this? Why were you willing to risk death to do this? And they said, it's better to die serving God and go to heaven than to let that thing go. Did they take serious the idea of not having images? For Jehovah thy God is a devouring fire, a jealous God. You better not have any other God because you've never seen anyone. You and I are jealous because we think we own people or we think we own things. Our God is not that way. He loves us intensely, and he does not want us to serve anybody else because he's the only one that can really bless us. But we have never seen any anger or wrath yet compared to the wrath of God because of us turning away from him. If you're not mine, you're not mine, he'll say. Do Christians have a covenant with God? Do we?
Yes.
What does Brother James call us being unfaithful to God? What ugly word does he use? You adulterers, you adulteresses. To turn away from God and worship something else is in God's eyes the same as if we had committed immorality against the person we had married. If you shall beget sons and grandsons and abide in the land, and being deceived, make to yourselves any similitude, committing evil before the Lord your God to provoke him to wrath. All right, now what he said here was, later generations can be led to believe that which is not right, correct? How many of us can explain why we do certain things? We all like to talk about, in our place we always do this. Is that what you'd like to talk about? In our place we always do this, correct? Why do you have this holiday? Well, because we've always had this holiday.
So it's been a tradition.
Tradition.
Custom.
Yeah, fiddler on the roof, tradition. Is there anything wrong with tradition?
No.
So the word tradition just means something handed down. And I want to tell you,
There's nothing wrong.
be careful who handed it to you. If we did it on our own, we're not smart enough to hand things down for people spiritually. We have to let God hand us things to hand down to people. So that's why Brother Paul said, I'm happy with you because you've kept the traditions. He's not talking about traditions of men. He's talking about the things that God has told us. So he said, just because something has been practiced for a long, long time does not mean it came from God. Is that right?
No.
Do you think that you and I might believe in some kind of an image because it's old? No. I won't say anything. I call this day heaven and earth to witness that you shall quickly perish of the land, which when you have passed over the Jordan you shall possess it, if you don't stay faithful to me. You shall not dwell there long, but the Lord will destroy you. I am Jehovah thy God, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Do you remember that story? Moses was not brave. He did not want to go. And he made all kinds of excuses. When he got there, he said, I can't talk. He said, that's all right. Your brother will talk for you. And then these two men who are nothings go in and see the king of Egypt, the most powerful king in the world, and say what? Let my people go. And this Pharaoh don't have to let them go because he is himself a god. Right? And he has the big bull god. He has the crocodile god. And he's got the river god. He's got all the gods. He's got plenty of gods, right? And what does God do? The real God do? He humiliates all of Pharaoh's gods. Shows that they are nothing. And finally, this man has to yield to God. I brought you out. You were slaves. Slaves don't have any power. I brought you out. Are you going to forget that? Thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image, nor any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is on earth beneath, or that is on the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. Look, brethren, this is still Deuteronomy in another place. And notice I did something. What does this word bow down yourself to them or serve them? Because we're saying, well, you got to understand, I don't worship this thing. I just are careful with it. I'm careful with it. I don't drop it. Am I right? I won't spit on it. You can't spit on it. I thought it was made out of wood. Yes, but no. No, you can't spit on it. Pros kunesis, autos, udeme, la truth osis, autos. That sounds so scholarly. All it means is, you shall not. You look. Those people are on their face in front of this Buddha, that Buddha, that Buddha, that Buddha. Huh? And that isn't all. We have the same thing happening ourselves. Am I correct? I'm almost afraid to teach you. Does anybody know who to talk to if you lose something? What if I lost my keys? Who shall I talk to? St. Anthony? Help me find my keys. Am I wrong or right?
Yeah.
We better start thinking in our hearts. Maybe we got some danger. Maybe. Do not bow down to them. What did Satan say to Jesus? On the third temptation in Matthew chapter 4. He showed him all the kings of the earth. And he said, if you will but fall down, prostrate, and latreia, serve me, worship me, I will give you all these. And Jesus said, no. You shall serve, you shall worship the Lord thy God, and him only shall you serve. That's what that means. We must not bow down to anyone but God. Then said Jesus unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Now we Christians would have to struggle. Why? Because we have a doctrine in our religion that's kind of confusing. You almost think you're not smart enough to explain your religion. Can you tell me the relationship between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? And why you don't have three gods and you only have one God, and you can talk to the Father, the Son, and the Spirit? Can you explain that? And we're going to have to say, well, we can't explain that, but we do believe that. And we have evidence to think that is true. Is it not? Yes, it's true. So we Christians are going to have to face this. But we do not worship anyone who is not divine. Correct? Divine. Right. For I, Jehovah thy God, am a jealous God, visiting iniquity of the fathers upon the children, upon the third, and upon the fourth generation. Who? Of them that hate me. And showing loving kindness to thousands of them that love me, and keeping my commandments. God does not say, okay, if you daddies are bad, I'm going to hate your children. He is saying, if you daddies teach your children to worship the wrong way, I will smile at them through the third and fourth generation. I can move back and we can have some chairs up here. What do you think, brethren? See, God is kind to us. Now then, we have the people going to Mount Sinai. It's been so wonderful. They've been delivered. They're going here. They're brought directly through the Red Sea. The army of Pharaoh is killed. Who could believe that these people who are nothing are now free? And they're circled around Mount Sinai. And the people seeing that Moses delayed in coming down from the mountain. Now Moses already heard from God. He's already talked to them. They already know the Ten Commandments. They already know the things about not worshiping any idols. And so Moses delayed to come down from the mount, gathered together against Aaron, and said, Arise, make us what? That they may go before us. By the way, when did Brother Barry say he wanted to have a break? I said, when did Brother Barry say he wanted to have a break?
Whenever, around 7-ish.
Okay, around 7. I love our way of talking. It's not my problem anymore, that's his problem. All right?
Whenever you're
All right, now, brother. Look, and the people singing Moses late, they say what? Arise, make us gods that may go before us. Hi, Barry. That's your problem anymore.
Whenever you want.
Okay, let me finish this first section because we're not going to get through this. But this is surprising. Who is this fellow Aaron? Brother Moses. Does he know what God wants? Do you like Moses, Aaron? He's very lucky that God accepts people who read him. For as to this Moses, the man that brought us out of the land of Egypt, we know not what has befallen him. We don't know what happened to him. So what do we need now? What was their God that led them before when Moses was walking with them? Did they have a golden calf then? Why do they need one now? You know, brothers and sisters, there's a display called King Tut when they bring all these things. Amazing. We went to see it. My wife and family were outside waiting, and I'm still in there looking at everything. Because I was surprised. I understand now. They have these great big bulls that are supposed to be the symbol of Apis, the god of strength and power and fertility. Wow. And the Israelites have been in this place for 400 years, and all around them they've had all the superstition of the Egyptians. They believe in all the foolishness, the horoscopes, and the luck charms. Right? Boy, it's amazing. And so they said, make us. And notice, brethren, I had to look this up. I didn't put the New Living here. This is a different translation because it said, don't make us God, make us gods. Elohim. I don't understand what they're saying. But make us gods, but they're only making one image. Wonder where they're going to get it. And Aaron said to them, now look, make us gods. And Aaron said to them, take the golden earrings from the ears of your wives and your sons and daughters and bring them to me. Now these are the jewels they got from the Egyptians. Take them off and bring them to me. What's he going to do with them? Is a gold image more powerful than one made out of dirt? Huh? I looked yesterday at all these idols. They got this Buddha that's made out of gold, and they got Buddha that's just painted. One of them got a smile on. Huh? And the people did what he had commanded, bringing the earrings to Aaron. Perhaps Aaron had hoped. This is someone supposed. This is someone supposed. Perhaps Aaron had hoped that their love of their personal finery and jewelry, which is the idol of so many of our own day, would prove stronger than their appetite for open idolatry. But men will for superstition part with that which they will not part with for a pure worship. Could that man be right? Huh? Could that man be right? I think maybe he is. But I know one thing. Aaron was afraid and Aaron was disobedient. And when he had received them, so who made that? He fashioned them by founder's work and made of them a molten calf. And they said, he didn't say. Now the people say, these are thy gods, O Israel, that have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. You believe that? That's my earring. That's your earring. It's our God, all right, because it's our earring. But is it a God? Huh? You don't understand, Brother Wilkey. It partakes of the power of that which it depicts. No, it don't. It's their earrings. Right? But will it have an effect upon them?
Yes.
On seeing this, Aaron built an altar before the calf and proclaimed, tomorrow is a feast of who? I want you to think about this. Because we have people going to argue with us and you don't understand. We're not making images of something that's not real. And we're not making images of something that's not true. We're making images of Jesus. He's true. Huh? Right? Are they thinking they're making a real picture of God? Yes, this is, tomorrow he says a feast to the Lord. I'm not leading you back into Egypt to worship that God over there. This is Yahweh. We're worshiping the God. Are they? No, because God is not in the image. Okay. Early the next morning, the people offered holocaust, which is the way of this translation saying burnt offerings, and brought peace offerings. Then they sat down to eat and drink and rose up to revel. That's a very mild word. We like to talk about reveling in our world today, especially on books on vacations. But that reveling is not a good word. Okay. I tell you what, let's let Brother Barry go to Zen. Let me back up one. And let us blank out. Let's stop for a while, because I want you now to do it and see that this story we have right here is important not just for the Jews, but it is taken over into the Christian scriptures. And Brother Paul, when he wants to teach us something, he says, I want you to look back and see what they did. Brother Barry, you have this, sir.